Well, a lot of telecoms vendors now offer cloud services such as infrastructure as a service and software as a service. So for infrastructure as a service, instead of going, say, to Amazon or Rackspace for those services, people are increasingly going to telecom service providers for those services for a variety of reasons. Sometimes they're bundled into other offerings, or connectivity is part of the offerings, but the telecom service providers have discovered they can offer infrastructure as a service offerings competitively against some of the global players. Software as a service, a lot of telecoms vendors are also offering software as a service. Either their own product's been offered as cloud services, or other people's products been offered as cloud services. They may even, in some cases, partner with somebody like Salesforce.com, and you might actually go to a telecoms vendor to get access to some of that functionality. So basically, it's the telecom service provider acting as a broker of cloud services, some of which they actually own, develop, and manage themselves, and some of which they host for third parties. Well, cloud computing is becoming a much more popular way of delivering IT resources. I think what we're finding is organizations are discovering that buying cloud services means they don't need to invest in large amounts of capital. In other words, they don't need to buy equipment and software and have it on site. They can source this functionality from a third party, and it can become an operational expense instead of a capital expense. Additionally, we're seeing this move driven by companies' need to be more agile and flexible. So cloud offerings mean that you can often provision new services more rapidly than would be the case with on-premise alternatives. With on-premise alternatives, you need to actually set everything up, install it, and so forth, and it might take quite a while before you do that. The cloud alternative, you can provision much more rapidly. The other benefit that people are starting to appreciate with cloud computing is the scalability. It's easier to increase and decrease the number of users than it is with on-premise alternatives. Again, with on-premise alternatives, if you wanted to increase the amount of activity that was going on, you might need to invest in new equipment. Whereas with the cloud alternative, you just ask for a bit more and it's there almost instantly. So this, for example, helps companies manage peaks and troughs in demand. If you're a retailer, having a cloud infrastructure means that you can handle sudden peaks in demand, and then when there's a trough in demand, you're not still paying a huge amount for your earlier capital investment. So there are some fairly obvious benefits associated with cloud computing around business agility, and companies are recognizing this more and more, and we're seeing a very rapid wholesale shift to a cloud model of computing. Okay, well, there are a bunch of factors. One of the factors is that Singtel is actually a regional player now, so there's a data center presence in Singapore, in Hong Kong, and Australia, which not many other Asia-Pacific telecoms vendors have, so it's able to offer its cloud services from those different locations, which is actually a differentiator.